Weber twins now.
That's pretty neat because we get that part of the publicity that nobody else is going to get. And we get, we've been getting put on the shows more together, so we're making more money at the same time. We can be with each other as we're fighting, you know, and help each other get through this. I think it's pretty neat.
I agree. I think it's one way we can see each other because we live in different states. So it's always nice to have a little vacation to go see.
Do you guys see each other more at fights than you would then socially, or how does it work out?
Yes, we do, because really that's the only time we see each other is at fights because we live in different states.
Now, how about when you were growing up, did you guys ever think that this would be happening in your lives, that at some point you'd be on fight cards together and pretty much maybe doing what you were doing when you were kids?
No, not right away until we started in karate and stuff when we were little, and then we figured, yeah, because we were together all the time.
Dora, were you surprised that you guys ended up being at this stage of your life together?
Yeah, I do in some aspects because we started boxing. She was boxing 20 years ago. I started boxing about 14 years ago, and boxing had picked up then, and then it died out for a long time, and just everything kind of went its own directions, and now it's all back together, and here we are.
This is the second time that you're fighting on the same card together. The first time you guys were placed behind each other directly in fights. Now, what was it like going and watching your sister fight, and you had to go there right after that?
Well, it was very nerve-wracking because I hadn't seen her in a couple years, and I'm going from the dressing room, I'm running to the ring, go, Kora, go, yeah, go, running back to the dressing room, going back, you know, every round. This was for 10 solid rounds. You know, and I had a real tough fight coming up, and I won that one fight, by the way. And so it was hard. This time they put a fight between us, so, you know, we wouldn't have to go through that.
Kora, I guess maybe you had the easier part there. You were done, then you could go watch your sister.
Yeah, actually I worked her corner, so I just threw a sweatshirt on and went out and worked her corner with her. Stayed right there with her, screaming at her every way.
Are you guys at all surprised at the exploding popularity of women's boxing now, or had you believed it would be coming?
No, we believed it would be coming. It'd be even more better once they get Lucille Riker and Christy Martin fight out of the way, because then we'll get the respect and the publicity and everything that we deserve for working just as hard as they do, and not neither one of them fight as much as we do.
Do you sense a little bit of a frustration in the women's boxing community that most of the publicity has gone to a couple of people?
Yeah, I see it in a lot of the women fighters, but you know what? These two girls got a lot of it going, so, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm glad they got what they got, and we're on our way, right behind them.
Now, what will it take to make women's boxing bigger? What is the ingredient that's the key to the longevity of women's boxing?
Well, we've got more to make believers out of more promoters, more people. You know, men and women, they have 2 arms and 2 legs. Come on, let's put the gender out of the way. We could do just as good a job, if not better, at all times, and then the men can. And
talk about the scouting report that you guys have shared here, that you guys are fighting the same opponents. Now, how does that work out for this fight?
Well, that works out pretty good, because when I heard my sister was fighting the girl I beat in Russia, I'm like, okay. I sent her the fight tape. You know, she's got tape. She's studied it. She's not going to have a problem with this girl. Hopefully, she'll put her to sleep in outside of 4 rounds.
What did you guys find out from your scouting report?
Oh, I learned a lot. She's tough. I'm not taking her lightly one bit, because every fight is different. Styles make fights. So I'm looking for a good match. And I predict a victory. And I'm not going to say what round or KO. I'm just predicting victory.
So the Webers here at the Tropicana, and Beverly Shemansky will be getting ready to tee it up with Deidre Gogarty. Later on in the competition, we've got Kora Weber will be fighting Kora Kutdussova. That will be straight ahead. And there is Weber giving you the good look, and she's warmed up. That's what you like to see. Get the sweat moving so that when you come out here you can fire. Sometimes we've seen fighters come out not warmed up and then they get caught.
And of course, Zulfia looking for revenge for that loss to Kora's sister Dora. She's going to come out strong.
And before that piece, you heard ring announcer Eddie Darian announcing the program that's not just for the people here. If you'd like to get a copy of the program, that's also capable. That can be done by contacting the promoters. One reason why you saw it there. Get a piece of history if you couldn't be at the fights tonight. So,
Just general questions. That's why I want to
There is Weber coming into the ring there, waving to the crowd. The more soft-spoken of the Webers.
Of the two. One way to tell them apart.
Kutdussova 29, Weber 39. The height very similar. Kutdussova 4 pounds heavier, and the reach to Weber substantially by 7 inches, and how she utilizes that will determine her victory status in this bout. And there is Kutdussova, 10-2, 4 knockouts, nice record, and Kora Weber with 5 knockouts, 13, 3, and 1. And there is Kutdussova from Russia coming in here trying to get a big victory on foreign turf, make an international name for herself, and Kora Weber, all business.
Kutdussova's had most of her fights in Europe. We haven't had much of an opportunity to see her live. She had approximately 4 fights there this past year she's been active.
That's why these fighters take a step up. They want to get to the next level. So we're ready to go for the formal introductions. Let's go to Eddie Darian.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, and it's for the vacant IWBF Lightweight Championship. Our judges, Eva Shane, Miss Jean Williams, and Melvina Layton. In the ring at this time, and out in charge of this scheduled lightweight championship bout is referee James Condon. And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the solid black trunks. She tipped in at an even 132 pounds. Now, this young lady has 10 wins, 2 losses with 4 knockouts. All the way from Moscow. Ladies and gentlemen, and a nice warm welcome for Zofia Kutdussova. And her opponent in the red corner, wearing the red trunks with the blue trim. She weighed in at 128.5 pounds. This young lady has 13 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 5 knockouts. From Ocala, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is Kora, Thunder Girl Weber. Ladies, I caution you again, protect yourself at all times. Good luck, and may the best lady win. Touch gloves. Have a nice fight, ladies. Back to your corner and await the bell. Seconds down.
There is Kutdussova and Kora Weber across the ring, ready to go. Good jab by Weber, starting it out. Takes her right hand. Kutdussova with the jab, and they give the impression they're going to go right at it. What else is new on this card?
That's right. Kutdussova with a typical European style straight up boxer.
Which is not a power position. When the European fighters come over and they get in the hands of American trainers, you'll see more lean, and they'll try to get more leverage into their shots.
Break, please.
Kora's more of the technician of the two sisters. Dora is not as much a technician, so we'll see how Kutdussova handles that.
Weber showing you the jab, the first person on this card showing you that. You'll see a little bit of everything here. Good technical skills. Lucy, you said that in the open about the technical skills of Kora Weber, and she's showing that here.
Absolutely, and she's 39 years old, 20 years of ring experience. She definitely is very polished as a fighter.
Kora Weber willing to be quite patient as she fires a left hook in there against the stand-up style, and she will have a lot of room to go to the body.
Something else we haven't seen a lot of tonight, Dave.
Very rare, but I think when the women look back on the tapes of these fights, they may do it more in future fights, as Kutdussova lands a nice combination on Weber. Kutdussova with age on her side. If she gets this fight deeper, maybe she'll have more left. Or will she need to make it go later? Kutdussova putting some pressure on Kora Weber. at the end of round one. Kutdussova really doing a nice job at the end of round one. Started slowly, but then got the combos going. And hey, she didn't turn into those punches like a European fighter.
No, she didn't.
I think she heard us, whether she speaks English or not. Good rights here.
She had a couple nice body shots, too.
Watch the hips. That is where the power is generated. And Zofia Kutdussova doing a nice job there of cornering Weber and then capitalizing.
And all Weber could do was cover up.
Seconds out.
So we start round two. Let's see if Zofia Kutdussova carries that momentum from the end of round one over, or if she buys some time and tries to pace herself in this long fight. As we said earlier, many of the women on this card are going into places they've never been with 10 rounders.
These girls are a little bigger than the two previous fights.
Weber coming in here as the title holder. We mentioned all the New Jersey rules applying here to the title bouts.
Wait! Wait! Let her go!
Well, a little bit of football. First and 10 for Zofia Kutdussova.
As they tackle each other to the mat.
Weber fires the right hand. She's trying to get things going behind the jab here. There's a couple nice examples of it. And Kutdussova waiting and then trying to tee off. We've seen in these 2-minute rounds a lot of action thus far in the card, and we're seeing a little bit more of the refined scholarly look in this one so far.
Yeah, not as much wild aggression as we saw in the last fight.
They're showing us jabs and defense. What's their problem? What, do they want a long career or something? There they are. Weber with the jab. Kutdussova going inside and shaking the glove. And Weber warned for hitting behind the head, and we suspect that James Condon may be a little bit on the busy side in this fight. Good right by Kutdussova.
Let go. Tie. Let her go. Let her go.
And tying up here by Kora Weber. She could lose points for that over the course of time as the round comes to a close. Kora Weber coming right into your living room.
And here is Handsome Larry.
Well, here's where we saw the fumble. The headbutt. They go down, little throw down, and this was the beginning of some tactics in which Kora Weber was warned for holding, hitting, throwing, tossing, and all other non-pointing abuse.
Excuse me, please knock off the holding and hitting.
And she's being warned again.
She's pushing.
By the way, guys, the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board
There in the corner of Kutdussova, looks like they're very happy with the way she's performed thus far. We start round 3. We mentioned New Jersey rules here. And in women's bouts, main difference is the 2-minute rounds and also a pregnancy test all women have to take prior to partaking in the action. Third round here.
There is one major difference.
I was at one once in which the woman said, I want to test her for gender. They said, wait a minute. We can't test for gender. Would not go over too well.
No, I don't think so. Kutdussova seems to be a very confident fighter.
Kutdussova waiting to be patient. Weber trying to set things up behind her jab. And then when the jab did not work, she tried to buy a little bit of room by tussling on the inside. And if the referee doesn't intervene, you'll get away with that. but she found out that referee James Condon is going to be one of these referees that will not tolerate it, so she may have to change. As always, it's not a foul if they don't call it.
Right.
Weber trying to put the right hand behind the jab, and there is an example of it. Goes to the body. Neither fighter getting cheated offensively, and this time it's Kutdussova who holds.
She hit a little low there. He warned her for that too.
Kutdussova may figure she's got a couple holds coming to her without a penalty. That's something how fighters
Let her go.
have that tally in their mind, and Kutdussova holds again. When in doubt, hold. That's been the theme so far, aside from good jabbing by Weber and good power by Kutdussova, as round 3 is about to go into the books. Kora Weber good for the extra theatrics with the stare.
No love lost there.
He doesn't give you the big talk, but she's good on the looks. Kutdussova with the same stoic expression she has worn the entire fight. Kora Weber complaining to her corner about the material, the clothing of her opponent there, and here she's trying to create her own material on the inside, scoring material with the judges.
Nice flurry by Kora.
Seconds out. 4.
We're ready for round 4.
4. Let's go. Seconds hustle. 4. Back to your corner. Back to your corner. 4.
And Zofia Kutdussova coming out. Kora Weber, who had a good third round in the red trunks. As we've had what could be described as an animated chess match thus far. We've seen flurries of activities, but 2 school veterans studying each other.
We've seen each try to hold. We've seen a little bit of everything.
Glad you've joined us for Ladies' Night Out, an historic occasion in women's boxing. This is Dave Bontempo along with Lucy Jones and Jack McCaffrey from the Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Let her go. Let her go.
Fighters from 4 countries in attendance, and also in attendance here, Lucia Riker. We talked about her earlier. And when one of the top names who's not on the card wants to come and see what's happening, that says a lot about the card.
Absolutely, and she is one of the top names in women's boxing.
They are calling for Lucia Riker to fight Christy Martin. Christy Martin, truthfully, has been the one ducking at this point.
Let her
And
go.
Kathy Collins, well aware of that in our main event with Andrea Deschamps. Both of them would like to propel themselves into the big mix. So we're seeing a card not only with implications for the fighters tonight, but implications down the road.
For matches to be made, and of course Kathy Collins has to get by a tough fight tonight.
Break. Let her go.
So don't be surprised if you see Lucia Riker on some of these cards. Very active fighter and exciting. She's fought some of the people on this card. As round 4 comes to a close, Weber and Kutdussova
Turn her loose. Let her go.
going at it. And of course, we mentioned at the top, this is all in the family. Kora Weber fighting, and guess who's getting a look at it? Let's go to Jack McCaffrey. Jack.
I'm in the locker room with Dora Weber, Kora's twin sister. Dora, what do you think? How's your sister doing so far?
The last 2 rounds with my sister, she got to stay calm. She's got her jab going. She faked that jab, throw that left hook. She's going to lay that chick right on her butt on the canvas.
It seems like you're having more energy expend here in the locker room, and some of the other fighters are telling you, save it for the fight. You're up, you're down, you're very excited about this one.
Yes, indeed, man. That's my sister. I love her. I want to see her kick that girl's butt and bring that title back in this dressing room.
Also, a little bit of a revenge factor tonight for the Weber family. You had an opportunity to fight that Russian before, so what do you think? Is it revenge in this one?
Oh, well, I beat the girl. I mean, unanimous when I fought her in Russia, but my sister's finna bring that belt back in this dressing room.
And do you usually get a chance to watch your sister fight?
I haven't. The last 2 cards we've been on the same on the same card together. But no, unless we get tapes of each other's fights.
Do you feel the punches when she feels them?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, you don't know. You hear me carrying on like a fool back here?
Okay, thank you, Dora.
All right, you're welcome.
Back to Dave.
Thanks, Jack, and we get some honesty from Dora Weber about what she wants her sister to do and bring that belt back in here. I talked earlier about the scouting report by both. Of course, Dora Weber beat Kutdussova, and she also beat Jane Couch, who she fights tonight, so it seems like everybody's after her.
That's right.
They're after her, they're after her sister. It's like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
They can't get to her, they want the sister.
Let her go. Let her go.
And of course, Kora Weber telling us that the way the sisters had to describe the fight, that she had Kutdussova down pat from a stylistic standpoint. So you get the sisters and their reaction. Good right by Kora Weber here in the fifth.
Kutdussova moves a lot better than I expected her to.
Break. Let her go. Turn her loose. Let her go.
For somebody that appears stationary and stand up in a European style, Lucy, that's right. She has the ability to move on her feet. Fifth round action coming to the halfway point of the bout. It's been one in which neither fighter has been truly able to impose her style permanently on the other, as the jab of Weber, the holding by both, the countering by Kutdussova, and the occasional jabbing by Kutdussova. But Kutdussova, when she jabs, does not get enough on her punches because of the standard style. We'll see how the judges are looking at that as we hit the halfway point. 5 more rounds left in Weber and Kutdussova.
Here is the lovely Sharon.
There's Kutdussova's foot. Same expression they've been using. Now Weber. Kutdussova being instructed.
Work her body. Come in with the jab. She respects you now.
And Kutdussova, hearing it in her language, and maybe a little more urgency. You don't have to understand the language to know. They were a little bit more concerned in the corner, in any language.
We did understand Kora's corner, and then they want her to work the body more.
Good overhead shot there from the Tropicana in Atlantic City. Dave Fontempo along with Lucy Jones and Jack McCaffrey for an historic occasion for women's boxing. Ladies' night out. The first time we've had 6 title fights on one card in one night. Eva Young has one of those titles with a win over Teresa Arnold, and Kora, Lisa Zamron and Jill Matthews have half of one, which means they have 0 because they fought to a very inspiring draw. This is the 3rd fight on the card. Weber's sister Dora, who you heard from, will fight in the 4th. And then we've got Deidre Gogarty, Beverly Shemansky, Kathy Collins, Andrea Deschamps, and if time allows, maybe some other surprises here.
Kora said one of the things that she had to do was go out and get Kutdussova's respect early, and I think she's earned that.
Good right by Weber, starting to penetrate inside. Lucy, this can't be an easy fight to score.
It's not. It's a very difficult fight to score. I have Weber up by 1 round, but I think it could go either way.
So that would be 3 rounds to 2, 1 point for Weber. And you get a look at why this fight has been difficult to score. A lot of stopping and starting and holding. And referee James Condon has been, as expected, worked hard, but also has been fair in that he has not deducted a point from either fighter because they're both guilty of the holding. He'll warn them again here, though. He's a little tired of it, but That comes with the territory in this fight. Good right by Weber. Weber's had a good round in the 6th, and Kutdussova with more holdings this time.
And of course, in a fight that's this close, you hate to see a point taken away. But if the holding continues, I think it's going to have to.
Well, Weber thought she had a very good round. Let's see if the corner agrees.
That round you kind of chasing, and you ran into some unnecessary.
And there is the ring card boy element. That's Larry Curitan, we mentioned before. Excellent kickboxer, although he doesn't look like he could headline a card tonight.
Stay in your rhythm.
He's just having fun tonight.
Thank you.
May have a little battle with his fashion coordinator.
Stay in your rhythm. Keep that jab working. Double, triple. Take some deep breaths.
He's a fireman. You may have to put out those trunks.
A little too wild for you, Dave?
I think there's a lot wilder.
Stay on the body. Don't be discouraged. Just stay above it.
Well, we'll see if age becomes a factor in this fight, too, as we get to the later rounds. Poor Weber, 39 years old, and Kutdussova, 25.
It usually does. We saw Zamaron, the younger fighter, come on against Matthews in our previous fight, and here they both go to war under the impression, perhaps, that the second wind kicking in for both. I don't think these two fighters will be able to decide who won a month after it's over, unless there's a TKO. Good punches here by Kutdussova. A flush shot to the chin.
She came out a little more aggressive this round, too, than she has in the previous round.
Kutdussova picking up the pace. Stand up or no, she's been lighter on her feet. There's an uppercut by Kutdussova. Weber needs to answer back. And this has turned into probably the best round in the fight thus far.
Perhaps Kutdussova's corner told her that they're concerned maybe that she's behind on the card.
They said back there, Lucy's got you behind. Better move. Kutdussova puts a couple nice shots together here. Then the tie-up, and this time it is Weber doing the tie-up.
This would be Kutdussova's round unless Weber can finish it off strong.
It's been a good round for Kutdussova, perhaps her most definitive round in the contest.
Yeah, this is the most aggressive she's been.
Now another warning by James Condon, and appropriate this time because you've got one fighter who has done most of the holding in a particular round. Weber is more tired. Kutdussova with a nice round in the 7th. You see Kutdussova going back to her corner. And let's hear from Weber's.
This is Sharon. Here is Sharon.
Only in the first round.
You know what I want you to try this round? I want you to fan jab. This has got to be quick, Alex.
Well, we mentioned Eva Young with a tremendous performance in the opening fight. Her victory against Teresa Arnold.
You got to pick up the punch now. You're loaded.
And there she is in the stands doing the autographs and continuing to talk. She was talking right after the bell. She talked to Jack McCaffrey. What a delightful young lady.
Absolutely, and she's still ecstatic about winning that belt tonight.
Don't too much. Just put steady pressure on it. With the jab. Straight right, man. Left hook. Keep that jab on. That's the mouth hook. Don't get discouraged.
Eva Young told her she got into boxing because of the money in there. Opportunities for her. So we start the 8th. Excellent round by Zofia Kutdussova in round 7. Will she parlay it to more in the 8th?
Let her go. Let her go.
Cora Weber tries to say no, holding her off. She's been battling on the inside, but the jab we saw earlier by Weber, Lucy, has lost its sting.
That's right, and she hasn't been able to be as effective with the jab, nor has she been able to get any kind of rhythm going in the last round or this round. And I think possibly the age is showing the difference now in this fight.
Age factor probably manifesting itself. You see it in the confidence of Kutdussova and the speed of Kutdussova.
Stop the holding.
She's the one now who doesn't want the holding. She wants to get it on, and she motions with her gloves. Come on over. And she's the one fighting through the holding now.
That's right. In much better shape. Again, probably due to the age factor, but yeah, it looks like she's got a cut.
Kutdussova coming on. We mentioned that with the 10-round fight and the pace that we expected and the caliber of the matchup, the late rounds would be very decisive. And there's a nasty cut out the side of the left eye by Kutdussova. She's fortunate in that it's not dripping in the eye right now, and it's out the side, but Weber may step it up a notch when she sees the blood.
As soon as she sees that blood, she should try work on that eye.
It is a break.
Let her go. Break. Let her
Try
go.
to make that move. Try to make the cut get over the eye, and really not stop it. So they touch gloves, but Kutdussova has another obstacle to worry about, and Kora Weber may have something to work off of. Right by Weber, good left by Kutdussova, good jab by Weber. Do we see it in the heads, or do we see it with the glove? Heads cut together there, but it has not been ruled a butt by James Condon. Substance applied.
Okay, Doc. You found the truth on the outside. Good.
Substance applied on Kutdussova.
Left hand.
Dave, I have this fight dead even right now.
Just like the last one. Nice and close at the end. Up for grabs at the end as we start round 9. Kutdussova and Weber with everything on the line here in this lightweight title bout. And James Condon again. And now Weber arguing with James Condon. That is how you can get a point taken away. That's good hook by Weber.
And her belt is on the line here.
Let her go.
That would be very good for Weber if it ended in a draw, because she'd be able to maintain her title. In the last fight, the title was vacant going in, so the draw keeps the title vacant. But if you have the title going in and it's a draw, you keep it. That's the boxing version of the home field edge.
Kutdussova, of course, trying not to let that happen, and with that cut over her left eye, I imagine Kora's going to try to work on that cut, although now she goes to the body a little bit.
They've both been holding, and both might say that the other person is the one who is not guilty of it.
And perhaps that's the reason we haven't seen a point deducted, because they're both guilty of it.
Both guilty and nothing taken away. It will be left to the fighters in round 9. And more football.
And that's something we don't need to see.
Well, it's quick. Referee separates them. Back we go. Let's see if we see a quick first. Usually by somebody you do after they've obtained a brief respite. So it has not had the scintillating pace of our other two fights, but it will have the scoring intrigue as we head down the stretch. Kutdussova and Weber. Watching it at home, can you make up your mind who you've got ahead?
Is this another tough round of 4?
Good thing it's you, Lucy. 1 to go.
Very good. Very good. This is it. This is winning round. This is the I got it, baby. I got it. We got it. This is all you. This is all you. Now she's going to come out and try to do the same thing. I can't push too much. Can I get on the floor? But I want you to get some of them out. You're looking so good. Looking so good. That right hand left hook is there every time you throw it. Okay, keep it going. This is where the champion is. Don't let nothing, don't bring nothing back to the corner. Okay, ref.
И сторону. И после этого начинай здесь. Руки здесь.
Well, James Condon has seen his share And again, the temporary warning, but Weber mounts off. And fortunate that she didn't lose a point there.
That's right.
And you heard the squeak when she was talking to James Condon. Just like that. So we go to the final round. Very much all up in the air. Kora Weber, Kutdussova.
Certainly neither fighter can be confident that they've won this fight. I think they both have to go out and try to win this round.
When you go into the final round knowing there's been a lot of stoppage in the momentum and that there's been holding, and you really can't say that the momentum has all been yours, you have those questions in the final round. Then it comes down to conditioning, but usually heart.
Which Kora Weber may not have the age advantage, but she does have a heart.
It takes a lot to discourage a Weber.
She says that's her biggest asset.
Final round as Kutdussova tries to take it, and there you see Weber with her arm around her and Kutdussova punching through. Weber not even masking it now. That arm was just draped around there.
At this point, a point isn't going to be taken away. If it wasn't yet, it won't be.
And one reason we've seen this so much in the final rounds is the sharp jab that Kora Weber had earlier has vanished because she's tired.
Yes. She's not been able to get that jab, to use that jab as effectively as she was early on.
Since she can't use the jab, she then tries to get the space she needs by holding on. And then trying to hit off the hold. So Kutdussova looks like she's had a better 10th. We'll see how it was on the cards. And so the title of Kora Weber, which is the last thing she brought into the ring, is something she has to hope the judges let her take out of the ring and back to the locker room where her sister is.
And did they think Kutdussova did enough to take the belt from Kora Weber?
And two fighters who are happy about one thing for the moment. It is over.
That's right.
Come on.
And this is a matchup that had its intrigue on the inside and did not have some of the titanic exchanges we saw in the other bout. But nonetheless, these people did go after it a lot.
That's right, Dave. I had Kutdussova by 2.
Okay, we'll see how it shakes out.
But I was wrong last fight. Very close round.
Well, if you like some football, we saw it here with the tackling, and the fighters are coming together here. Watch the arms tangle, and that was Weber looking for the tackle there.
Right.
And fortunately that nothing was taken away. She thinks that she won it. We'll see how it works. There's Diane Fisher.
I'll get you some water. Ron, can you get that water?
3 fights now have gone in this historic ladies' night out. There's a look at the belt. Kora Weber thinks she has it.
Which one will be taking it? Of course, it is Kora Weber's right now until the announcement. Did Kutdussova do enough to take that belt from Kora Weber? That's what judges have to make that decision.
Did they do enough? And you always hear that you have to take it convincingly from a champion, but that's a relative term.
Number 1.
Kora Weber thinks that she got it, looking perhaps for a little divine intervention. And Kutdussova hoping that she will have a title.
Kutdussova still that mild-mannered, calm.
I would hate this delay if I was a fighter.
Longest time of the fight.
Why are they taking so long? What's taking the verdict so long? They have to be wondering. We are now ready, waiting for Ed Darien.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Tropicana Hotel Casino here in Atlantic City, I've got the scoring, and here it is. Judge Melvina Lathan, she scores 98-92, while Judge Eva Shane, she scores 99-91, and Judge Miss Jean Williams, she has it 96-94. All for the winner by unanimous decision, and the brand new IWBF lightweight champion, Kora Kutdussova.
As you said, Lucy, Kutdussova gets it. And she did it late. She did it with a late burst.
Yeah, although a couple of the judges saw it a little more wide open than I did, she did come on stronger in the later rounds.
7, 8, 9, and 10 were the rounds that enabled her to break it open and get this fight in her path, and she has the belt. And very happy, Kutdussova with Diane Fisher.